Hey guys, welcome back to Emma's Jewelry Making Talk. And this is going to be kind of a special episode because I've been doing some research. And to tell you the truth, you know how we were talking about in the last segment about how resources are like a big must with everything with jewelry making? Well, I kind of forgot to kind of like mention that bead magazines were very popular when I was really getting into making jewelry. There were kinds that were called like beadworks and beads and buttons and just a whole bunch of different names for magazines. But to tell you the truth, they've been, making these magazines for 25 years and they stopped publishing their magazines. And for us jewelry makers, there's no more jewelry magazines that I can see. They say there's supposed to be some coming out in the future with new projects and things like that. But to tell you the truth, everything is going pretty much digital now. You can get all these magazines and older versions of these magazines names and titles on your like devices like iPad or iPhone or things like that. But to tell you the truth, I kind of miss flipping through pages of beautiful like laid out pieces of jewelry of projects to do and hearing the paper and feeling the touch of when you flip a page. They don't have that anymore. It's all digital. It's all like computer based digital stuff. And to tell you the truth, having it and touching it is way better than digital because you get to see the pages and you get to flip them yourself. I mean, you can still do it with an iPad. But jewelry magazines were a huge thing for me because it showed the trends of different styles and things that were in fashion. And tell you the truth, I collected over the years and I have maybe 250 magazines and I never get sick of it. I mean, I've read probably almost every single one of my magazines that I own. And another resource is good to have is books on like on how to do things, different techniques, different skills, different things like that are very important to use. There's even like books for beginners, books on how to, market yourself with business or how to sell yourself online, things like that. Just sell your jewelry online versus in person. Uh, but like I said, magazines were kind of a part of me in a way where I could look through colorful pages and go, oh, these designs are gorgeous. Or be like, see people's like articles or, things that actually really excite you. And every time I'd go to the grocery store, I swear to you, I would go like crazy seeing the new jewelry magazine in the stores at like the grocery stores. And when I was younger, I used to go to Maine every summer. And at the grocery stores, they would have these type of magazines too. I mean, it was a very popular brand of like beadworks and beads and buttons. And I think there were some other magazines. I just can't remember the names of them. But like I said, I will put those in the bio, or the descriptions so you know where to find magazines. I mean, you can look now to find old articles and old magazines through like Etsy or eBay or Amazon. I mean, it's kind of tricky sometimes. Um, and I hate to tell you, but I miss having magazines and picking a new one out and looking at all the new designs, and sometimes they have like really good like things like, for instance, traditional techniques and new ways, stitched sparkly beaded bezazzle, and there's just so many different things on the front of the page of the cover of the magazine. And sometimes it helps you understand like how to do a certain technique or where to find the best crimp bead tools or crimp beads, which is another segment we will get into, but we don't need to do that right now. So, I have a question for my listeners here. What is your passion? What makes you excited and makes you feel very proud of what you do? What excites you? What drives you to the next level, and what makes you feel like I'm invincible? I can do so many different things. And yeah, that's my question of the day, is asking my listeners questions of things that, when did you or how did you decide that you wanted to be a jewelry designer? What got you the kind of the inspiration, I would say, of how something that you love to do every single day and you never get sick or tired of it and you just enjoy it, of making new things. Like, for instance, today I made a really cool piece with this like magnetic clasp, blinged out like clasp with red and black beads, which I just think are so beautiful. And then I also made earrings to match. So I was very excited about that. But now I'm going to have to go back on to where I got my magnetic clasp on TikTok shop and order some more, because I'll tell you right now, they make my jewelry look fabulous, elegant and classy and beautiful, all in one little piece of jewelry. And I finally sent off my emails to the art shop in Midtown Global Market, which I will give you the info for that if you ever want to sell in stores, and a place called I Like You Too consignment shop in St. Paul. I think there's a bunch of different spots of that shop all over in the Twin Cities. I'll have to research it more. But like I said, and another thing is really good to, like, when you do wholesale, finding, like, you know how I told you about like Fire Mountain Gems and stuff? Well, there's a place that happens in October, and I love it to death because it's just so cool. It's called the Bead Bazaar. And basically, it's in a place in Hopkins, Minnesota, in a community center in the gym. And they're basically bead shops all in the Twin Cities that gather together and have this little bead bazaar get together with just all the bead people like in our jewelry making community. And we all get together and we basically, it's like wholesales. You buy beads and materials and have an awesome time with your friends. And there's so much to look at. So much. I do it a little bit before my birthday, and I also do it right after my art crawl in October. So I'm really excited for that for next year. I'm hoping it will be even better than it was when I saw it this year, which I was ecstatic about. Um, I'm going to hopefully do that again. And another thing I was thinking about too with some of these podcasts segments is we're going to talk about price points of, like, what do you price your jewelry at? You know, is it a reasonable price, or is it a little too expensive, or is it too low enough where you won't make enough profit? You know, profit is a big key when you're selling your jewelry. And you also have to make sure you have enough inventory. to keep doing shows and sales and things like that. And that's always a great thing to get resources from that, of finding out the greatest places to sell your jewelry, set up your tent. If it's outdoors or indoors, you do indoor stuff. It's a little bit different. Uh, for me, I like both indoor and outdoor art shows or craft shows, because you get kind of both worlds, you know? You have some that are indoors during the spring weather when it's still a little cold, but a little bit warm at the same time. Then you also have your summer events that where you use your outdoor tent and you set up all your stuff, make it look really professional, and sell all your stuff. Like I said, the segment on this part too is also making sure you have enough inventory to keep selling in craft shows and online and in stores if you want to do like consignment shops and stuff. I mean, that's the way to do it, you know, and network yourself with your business, your name, your brand, your identity, and it pretty much shows who you truly are with your jewelry. It shows who you are, your personality, and who you are to this very day. Like, for example, 21 years of Emma's Pretty Gems has been going strong. And yes, there has been hiccups in the road, but you know what? All of us in the world struggle with that. Trying to stay afloat, trying to make money, and trying to just keep on the path of where we're at, you know? But that's my stuff for you that I want you guys to think about. And I want you to write down things that are very important to you. And also make sure you have track of like your inventory list. Do Excel spreadsheets. Those are just like super easy to do and easy to set up. I just sent off with the photos and stuff. I sent off an inventory list of all my hoop earrings that I sell, that whenever I add new pieces of like hoop earrings and stuff, that is exactly where that goes. So I always know, oh, did I sell these? Yes. I know how much they are and what kind they are and what color and what style. Yes, I know it all. So that's the important thing, to always take inventory of your stuff. Also, you can take pictures of your stuff so you always know what you've made in the past and if you can recreate it, you know? That's another thing you can do, definitely. Um, I just ordered not too long ago a book that's like a beading book that has questions and answers that if my followers and listeners would like to know about jewelry making. If you're just starting out learning how to make jewelry and you know, you kind of taught yourself or you're wanting to learn, another good source is taking jewelry making classes online or in person. But you know, to tell you the truth, in person is more fun because sometimes you make new friends when you're making jewelry or when you're taking a jewelry making class. And there's so many resources of places to take jewelry making classes. Like for here in Minnesota, we have one that's called the Lotus Beads and Jewelry. That is basically, that one is at the Mall of America, and it is a fun place to take jewelry making classes. And then another one is uh, the Beadhive in Minneapolis. So those are really good places to start off taking classes so you learn the basics of making jewelry. And I hope you guys enjoy this segment for tonight. This is Emma's Pretty Gems here, signing right off. See you guys later.